Greetings and welcome to the Integrated Lighting Campaign 2021 Recognition Webinar. Today we will present the exemplary projects that have earned recognition from the Department of Energy for their use of advanced lighting sensors and controls and the integration of lighting systems with other building and business systems. Next slide. Sorry for the technical difficulties. I am Felipe Leon, and I'm an electrical engineer with Pacific Northwest National Laboratory and the Integrated Lighting Campaign project lead. For today's agenda, I will provide a brief introduction about better buildings and the Integrated Lighting Campaign and the recognition categories during our inaugural year. I will then turn it over to Tracy Beeson, who will introduce recognized participants and their projects. Your presenter for that is Tracy Beeson, and she is a lighting engineer at Pacific Northwest National Lab and has worked on various efforts for DOE's commercial building integrations and solid state lighting programs over the years. On the ILC, Tracy has been supporting data collection and management and has had the pleasure of engaging with and learning from many of our partners. She's looking forward to helping facilitate information exchange, a part of this campaign, to bring greater value to buildings through advanced technologies and systems integration. I'll then wrap up the presentation portion of this webinar with our recognized supporters and some announcements. And after the presentation portion, we have several participant supporters who are joining us and will share their perspectives and join us during the Q&A session. So please submit your questions using the questions panel throughout this webinar, and we'll get through as many of those questions as we can or follow up with you. If you have any general issues with the webinar, for example, audio issues, please type those into the chat window. And I'd like to thank RETEC advisors, especially Ali Georgeson, who will be monitoring that and seeing if there's any technical support, but I do appreciate their support during this webinar. Next slide. So to start, Better Buildings is an initiative of the U.S. Department of Energy. DOE partners with leaders in the public and private sectors to make the nation's homes, commercial buildings, and industrial plants more energy efficient by accelerating investments and sharing of successful business practices. Over 950 organizations have partnered with DOE and have collectively saved more than 2.2 quads of energy. The Better Building Solutions Center is a place to find proven and cost-effective energy and water efficiency solutions. With over 3,000 solutions and resources, the Solution Center is sure to help tackle some of your energy challenges. Solutions range from implementation models, showcase projects, toolkits, case studies, and more. Technology campaigns, which I'll talk about today, such as the Integrated Lighting Campaign and technology research teams, are also resources from Better Buildings. Visit betterbuildingsolutionscenter.energy.gov to learn more. Next slide. So Better Buildings technology campaigns aim to accelerate the adoption of promising, efficient technologies, and they do so by providing technical assistance, resources, implementation guidance, and best practices. Also, we do recognition for exemplary projects, and that's what we're happy to do today. Our sister campaign, for example, focuses on building envelope thermal performance. Please check them out, ec.ornl.gov. You'll see the link on your right-hand side there. Also, some completed campaigns are shown here on this slide, two of which were focused on the adoption of high efficiency lighting, think about LED, and the use of sensors and controls in commercial spaces. The resources from these campaigns still exist, and they now reside on the Better Building Solution Center's toolkits. Next slide. Looking at our interconnected puzzle pieces here on the left, you'll notice that advanced sensors and controls in lighting and advances in lighting systems that improve lighting performance are of interest to the Integrated Lighting Campaign. Going beyond the lighting system, today's lighting can communicate with other building systems to afford deeper whole building energy savings. For example, by exchanging information with heating, ventilation, and air conditioning systems and controllable plug loads. The energy benefits of such integrations can result in a positive impact on your return on investment. But non-energy benefits may tap into a much higher value proposition that may tip the scale in favor of adopting these high efficiency systems and using some of those approaches. Some examples of these include space utilization analysis, and that could leverage the occupancy sensors that are already in your lighting system. For systems with communication beacons, lighting systems, asset tracking may help improve your business workflows. And today, we're hearing a lot about contact tracing, in some cases using the lighting infrastructure. The ILC strives to capture these innovative lighting projects, recognize those exemplary ones out there, and help document successes so others may make informed decisions about the advanced lighting systems and the capabilities that they can afford to their buildings. Next slide. The ILC website serves as our key resource to obtain relevant information. You'll see here that reports and case studies from national research labs and other third-party organizations are linked there, as are utility incentive lists that may help provide financial support to those undertaking some of these advanced lighting projects. Webinars and videos and training resources are also among the resources listed, along with topic relevant videos available to view right on the site. These may be filtered by categories or keywords to make it most useful to you. You can also find archives of our e-newsletter to catch up on the ILC's activities and get perspectives from industry experts. Next slide. Our campaign's organizers are our primary planning and management team partners. They are Better Buildings, which is, again, an initiative of the U.S. Department of Energy, Design Lights Consortium, United States General Services Administration, Illuminating Engineering Society, International Facility Management Association, Lighting Controls Association, and International Association of Lighting Management Companies. Organizers help provide guidance for the ILC. They support our outreach efforts, and they have an alignment with and an interest in our campaign. We are very happy to have their support. Next slide. Shown on this slide are the recognition categories for participants, such as building owners and facility managers. For the advanced use of sensors and controls for lighting category, connected lighting systems, network lighting controls, and advanced lighting controls are all encapsulated, but not exclusive of other possibilities that, for example, create an enhanced user or occupant experience through lighting. Integrated controls for plug loads or HVAC and lighting systems categories seek projects where the lighting system helps to inform those building systems, likely resulting in energy savings. When it comes to other integrated systems and lighting, the sky, or maybe the ceiling's the limit. Some examples of projects include lighting systems that interact with grid services, energy storage systems, photovoltaics, automated shades, asset tracking, security, and more. We also have recognition opportunities for supporters, such as utility programs that may be providing incentives. Utilities may also submit information to help the ILC, such as aggregate data related to number of projects incentivized, calculated measured energy savings at the building or program level, and any other information that would support quantifying of these energy benefits from these systems. Partners being recognized today were announced during the 2021 Illuminating Engineering Society annual conference last month. We appreciate their support for that, and we are happy to have some of them joining us today. Next slide. Without further ado, I will now turn the floor over to Tracy Beeson, who will provide information about our recognized participants and their projects. Tracy, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Felipe. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I'm going to share some of the details and highlights from our participant portfolios. And I'd like to begin with a shout out to all of our recognized participating organizations, as you'll see on the next slide. Here are all the logos of the organizations whose project we will be discussing today, and a quick summary of our recognized sites. There were a total of 13 participant organizations, which give us examples of exemplary system performance across 7 different building sectors, as well as a couple of innovative outdoor projects. Next slide, please. The first site that I would like to highlight today is Bryan Medical Center, which is operated by Bryan Health Systems. They're a nonprofit organization that cares for patients and educates tomorrow's healthcare providers. This site is being recognized in both advanced use of sensors and controls for lighting, as well as other integrated systems and lighting categories. And this project, which covers 3 million square feet across 2 campuses in Lincoln, Nebraska, was upgraded to LED lighting, which allowed for individual light level controls and pre-programmed light levels in multi-use conference spaces, as well as automatic scene adjustments in spaces where X-ray are being viewed for improved diagnostics, as well as saving physicians a lot of time. So among the many other benefits that our site contact reported, there were reduced lighting related calls to the help desk. Notably, that is, facility manager is also now able to address the needs much more quickly when it comes to maintenance. And that's all in addition to a 57% energy saving. So next slide, please. And the next site that we will be reviewing today is Welsh Hall at California State University of Dominguez Hills. It is a nearly 180,000 square foot multi-use building there in Carson, California. And it was recognized in both the advanced use of sensors and controls for lighting, as well as the integrated controls for HVAC and lighting categories. The upgrade to LEDs included luminaire level sensors with occupancy, photo sensing, temperature sensing, energy logging, and Bluetooth capabilities, as well as average set, and they set the average, or they set lights per the user's preferences. Then the occupants preferred, on average, a 40% of the full light output, which helped yield in a 34% energy savings. That network of sensors within the lighting system was also integrated with the building management system via BACnet, allowing them to set back for temperature control, yielding a 27% energy reduction to the HVAC system. So, and on the next slide, I'd like to bring to your attention the city of Wilmington. They were recognized in our advanced use of sensors and controls for their street lighting project, where all of the 1,732 existing street lights were upgraded to LED. In addition to the technology upgrade, they also included photo controls, wireless control nodes, and a clever light level program that they use to account for the lumen maintenance over the life of the system. Reported benefits include streamlined maintenance thanks to a daily report that is automatically emailed, in addition to a 69% energy savings. And on the next slide, I'd like to talk about Denver Water's newly constructed LEED Platinum building in Denver, Colorado. The building has a networked lighting control system that is BACnet integrated with the building management system, and that allows for real-time occupancy data to modify the settings for their mostly radiant heating and cooling system. They implemented temperature setbacks of 3 degrees, which they are anticipating will save 2 to 4% above a system that is not integrated. The estimates for this building are based on design documents, efficiency studies, and energy modeling, as the building had very limited use after being completed and occupied in late 2019. And this site was recognized under our integrated controls for HVAC and lighting category. And on the next slide, we're going to be heading north to talk about IMEG Corporation's corporate office in Chicago, Illinois. This thoughtfully designed office space was recognized in our advanced use of sensors and controls for lighting category. In addition to advanced controls, the concept that the designers took a biolithic approach in these spaces, from a fractal layout with tunable white light that changes color throughout the course of the day, which allows occupants to experience a dynamic environment with light where it is needed. In addition to the occupant's comfort and that increased feeling of connection to nature, the design uses 37% less power than an IECC baseline, and they prioritize ongoing education to support their cross-generational staff. And on the next slide, I will be discussing Johnson Controls headquarters, which is 165,000 square foot corporate office in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, that was recognized in both our integrated controls for plug loads and lighting systems and our other integrated systems and lighting categories. This site has power over Ethernet, PoE, wired, and wireless controls that are all integrated to leverage occupancy data to reduce plug loads by turning off non-intelligent loads when spaces are vacant, with smart outlets and circuit relay sensors. In addition to this energy-saving approach, their lighting system allows for people counting, adjustment of color temperature throughout the course of the day, automated shades, connected faucets, flush valves, and disinfectant lighting in the restrooms, as well as visual guidance via geofencing. And on the next slide, I would like to talk about Massachusetts Port Authority, which is the next organization that was recognized for their lighting system upgrade at Conley Terminal Yard in Boston. This project included an upgrade of the 23 high-pressure sodium post lights to LED. During installation, they removed the lower ring devices on the poles and they replaced them with crossbars, which allowed for them to co-locate the Wi-Fi and security components that are necessary to their operations. They also pre-programmed three different light levels that allow the terminal operator to modify the light levels, which fed directly into one of their most highly reported benefits was significant reduction in light pollution. And of course, it contributed to the 55% energy savings that they're now seeing with that system being operated. So on the next slide, we will be talking about Minnesota Department of Transportation, who was recognized for their maintenance facility in Richfield, Minnesota. This site was recognized in both our integrated controls for HVAC and lighting systems, as well as the integrated controls for plug loads and lighting systems. In addition to the LED retrofit, the project included a networked lighting control system that integrated with the HVAC controls via BACnet with temperature setbacks of just 2 to 4%. They achieved 82% energy savings, and by leveraging that same occupancy sensor data for their plug loads, they managed to turn those off for a 71% reduction in energy. You will see here that these very impressive savings were in part due to COVID shutdown of 2020, but it also illustrates how important these advanced control strategies can be when our buildings are occupied intermittently. So on the next slide, we'll be talking about the next organization that was recognized, which is the state of Vermont. They were recognized for their efforts in their lighting system integrations in 2 office buildings in Burlington, Vermont. They received recognition in the integrated controls for HVAC and lighting systems category for the nearly 375,000 square feet, where they focused on a multi-strategy approach to reduce their HVAC energy use. The advanced lighting controls integrated with BMS via BACnet allowed them to set temperatures back in unoccupied spaces, as well as control the water source heat pump temperatures, reduce the runtime of the VAV boxes, and also reduce the fan power for the 50 horsepower supply fans. And all of this yielded in 88,000 kilowatt hour savings for Costello Courthouse alone. And on the next slide, we'll be moving over to our country's capital, where we will talk a bit about the U.S. Office of Personnel Management. This is an 850,000 square foot building that received recognition in our integrated controls for HVAC and lighting systems category. The site upgraded their lighting system, ensuring all luminaires in non-storage and mechanical spaces were dimmable and addressable. They set back temperatures in unoccupied spaces by 6 degrees, and they mapped their occupancy sensor zones to 900 separate VAV boxes. Their efforts not only increase the air handling unit efficiency and longevity, but also saves them 1 million kilowatt hours per year. So now I would like to bring, on the next slide, I would like to bring your attention back to Minnesota, where I will share some details on Jones Hall. This is a University of Minnesota building that is 25,000 square feet. And it was recognized in the integrated controls for HVAC and lighting systems category. Their upgraded LED system with luminaire level lighting controls allowed them to not only fine-tune the light levels in the building to meet the needs of the occupants, but also provided the ability for demand control ventilation, thermostat setbacks of 6 degrees, VAV shutoff, and supply air temperature resets, which has reportedly saved 46% of the total HVAC system energy. And on the next slide, I am pleased to share some details about the innovative way that Walgreen Company has leveraged their upgrading lighting system with Bluetooth, low energy, and visible light communication by sharing details about a life safety pilot that they implemented in Georgia and Illinois, and a separate basking tag pilot at a couple of stores in Tennessee. Both efforts have provided valuable insights to their ongoing operation by helping them understand in-store traffic patterns in the case of basket tagging, and automation of monthly and annual emergency lighting, remote testing, and regulatory reporting. Other benefits include reduced maintenance efforts, in addition to allowing associates more time to focus on enhancing the customer's experience. We recognize Walgreen Company in our other integrated systems and lighting category for those innovative ways of leveraging their advanced lighting system capabilities. So on the next slide, which is our last site we'll be discussing today, but certainly not the least, I would like to share some details of the work done at Westover Air Reserve Base in Massachusetts. The 200,000 square feet of warehouse, gymnasium, and maintenance hangars earned the U.S. Air Force recognition in our advanced use of sensors and controls for lighting category. In addition to the LED lighting upgrade, a wireless lighting control platform that tracks occupancy, lighting activity, and lighting energy use while providing easy-to-use data visualization features has provided many benefits, among which are increased light levels that now exceed the targets for formerly underlit spaces, a simple payback of 2 to 7 years, depending on what baseline they use, and an energy savings of 460,000 kilowatt hours per year. And on the next slide, I will share a little bit of information, key lessons learned that we heard again and again from these folks who have implemented these successful projects, as we really want to be sure that we are sharing some of their most key, their keys to success. So one of the things we heard from more than one participant is that it's very important for success. When you start small, you learn, you iterate, and you scale up, and you don't bite off too much at once. It's also important to identify ways that you can meet users' needs in simple and intuitive ways. So if personalized controls are provided, it's really important to ensure that the users know how to operate the controls and the user interfaces are easy to use and intuitive. It's also important to get IT involved early. All the IT information should be documented and always communicated to ensure that the right parties are talking at all times throughout the design process. It's also, along those same lines, very important to share information about the project with the design and the operation teams early and often. That level of communication can be very important as you move into occupancy of the space, because it really helps for occupants to understand why things were being done, and it allows them to appreciate the capabilities that the lighting can grant them. And last but not least, again, it's important to specify the capabilities desired and follow through on that implementation. Sometimes things can get value engineered out. Sometimes there's capabilities for various functionality, but unless it is intentional, sometimes it doesn't get implemented, and it's just lost potential. So these are just some really good key lessons that we've learned in talking to these folks who have successfully integrated their lighting system with so many other systems and shown us so many demonstrations of exemplary work. On the next slide, please. I will be passing this back over to Felipe Leon, who will talk a little bit about the supporter recognition.
Thank you so much, Tracy, and congratulations to our wonderful participants for the information they shared and for being recognized this year. I do want to give a heads up to those on the webinar today that we do have California State University, Dominguez Hills, City of Wilmington, IMEC Corporation, Johnson Controls, Minnesota Department of Transportation, University of Minnesota, and we also have Westover Air Reserve Base. So if there was something about those projects that interested you, please go ahead and type those questions in since they'll be joining us a little bit later on. But right now, let's turn our focus back to the supporter recognitions. And on this slide, I would like to congratulate these supporters. You can see them right here. Utility supporters recognized that you see on this slide are Con Edison, which provides gas and electric and steam to New York City and Westchester. I really do hope everything is okay up there in the Northeast. I know that Ida has caused a lot of mayhem in that area. Consumers Energy is a public utility that provides natural gas and electricity to 6.6 million Michigan's residents. Efficiency Vermont provides objective advice, technical services, and financial support to help their customers create healthy, happier, and more comfortable spaces. And Seattle City Light is a community-owned organization providing affordable, reliable, and environmentally responsible power to the city of Seattle and neighboring suburbs. And Excel Energy is a utility serving Colorado, Michigan, Minnesota, New Mexico, North Dakota, South Dakota, Texas, and Wisconsin. A lot of ground to cover there, and we congratulate those utility supporters. Now, there are two other types of supporters that we are recognizing, and these are Energy Management Collaborative, is a lighting and technology solutions provider with a living lighting lab installed at their headquarters, and Designlines Consortium, which is a nonprofit organization whose mission is to achieve energy optimization by enabling controllability with a focus on quality, people, and the environment. So congratulations to all those supporters. I do want to note that that our team recognizes a variety of systems that were showcased at EMC for their living lab and the tours that they have provided. And from DLC, we'd like to recognize the lighting initiative supporting their member utilities, the industry, and also a lot of the research that they've conducted on luminaire level lighting control and network lighting controls, which are very aligned with what we're doing in the integrated lighting campaign. They also have a lot of education efforts that they work through their members. And also, I would like to say that our team recognizes the incentives for network lighting controls, the training programs, the innovative rebates, such as the one from Efficiency Vermont, which is for integrating systems, paying for some of the labor associated with that, including lighting. So we really do appreciate also that aspect that they brought to our campaign this year. Congratulations, exemplary supporters. Next slide. So I talked a little bit about better buildings, and dedicated to bringing you the latest actionable insights from leading industry experts, the Better Buildings webinar series is a chance to explore the topics, technologies, and trends that affect your organization, as well as efforts to accelerate energy efficiency adoption. Visit the link on this slide to view each of the webinars that are coming up and register for them. I'll go over some of the ones that are going to be covered during this webinar series in case you're interested. Decarbonization is one of those, technology deployment, renewable energy resources and opportunities, water efficiency advancements, community resilience, and there are various more. You can see that there's more than I just read out. So please visit that link to learn more. Aligned with our campaign is something that I'm very excited about on this next slide. And I want to just go over before we go into our perspectives and Q&A here in a moment. This one is the L-Price competition, and it was launched by the Department of Energy in May. I encourage you to visit that L-Price website here to learn more. The email and URL are provided there if you'd like to get more information or just go and learn more about it. It's a $12 million competition, and it's designed to spur groundbreaking innovation to develop the next generation lighting solutions for commercial buildings. So very exciting. Our campaign is focused on the commercial space, and we are very excited about what's going on there. Next slide. At this point, I'd like to now welcome our ILC partners that were able to join us today. They were able to join us, and they're going to share their perspectives. We want to give enough time in this webinar so that they can tell you about these projects from their own perspective. And they're also going to join our Q&A. So those questions that you may have had coming in, we will address those during this portion of the presentation. The recognized participants again joining us today are California State University, Dominguez Hills. We have Kenny Seaton with us today. Kenny, welcome. City of Wilmington is joining us. Kelly Williams is joining us from City of Wilmington. Welcome, Kelly. IMEG Corporation, Maureen Castillo is joining us. So welcome, Maureen. Johnson Controls is joining us, and we have Matthew Delage. For Minnesota Department of Transportation, we have Mark Mullenbrook. So Mark, welcome to the webinar. University of Minnesota, Jay Amundsen. Welcome, Jay. And we also have Westover Air Reserve Base joining us today, and we have Wayne Goodman from Westover Air Reserve Base. And some organizations, I believe we have 2 representatives. So as I've gone through introductions here, are there any other webinar panelists today for this portion that I didn't read? Moving on to recognized supporters joining us today, we have Consumers Energy. Aaron Kwiatkowski is joining us from that. Aaron, I know that you as well as Kelly in the city of Wilmington are dealing a lot with the aftermath, the remnants and aftermath of Ida. I hope everything is going well for you. Energy Management Collaborative, Tony Johnson is joining us. Seattle City Light, we have Armando Berdiel. And Excel Energy, we have Kim Sherman and David Potterson. If I miss any of those, please go ahead and speak up now. But what I'd like to do now is ask each participant partner to share briefly your perspectives on your recognized project. What benefits are most meaningful to you? And if there is anything that you'd like to share as far as living with these lighting systems since installation. So let's go ahead and get started with those participants. And I'd like to just turn the floor over for a minute or so to Kenny Seaton, California State University, Dominguez Hills. Kenny?
Hi, yeah, thank you very much. So I've been playing in this field for a little while. I'm really excited to see how it just keeps getting better and better. Some of the biggest things are that at first we just talk about turning the lights on and off, but giving us that granularity to actually adjust the light levels to the individual needs is huge. We're finding out that we're turning the lights down way more than we actually thought we would. Like I said, this building, most of the lights got turned down to 40% average and a lot less than that. The other thing is, if you're going to do a project like this, if you're not going to integrate it into your building automation system or your HVAC, then don't let them value engineer it. Save your money until you can actually do it. Because if you put a system in that's not going to tie into your HVAC, you're going to be replacing it. The savings on being able to, and COVID proved that to us so much. So, you know, when we have these large 4-story buildings that have 6 people on one floor, without this technology, we would be cooling that entire floor to 72 degrees regardless. And now we're able to just control the coolest spaces that people are in. Also, it's pretty cool to have the Bluetooth capability so that on larger campuses, we can start doing wayfinding stuff with it. The other thing is, once you tie the occupancy to your building automation system, then more than likely you should have some trending capability, and you can start doing your own space utilization stuff, because you can start trending when people are in and out of a space and know how your spaces are being used correctly. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kenny. And building on that, City of Wilmington, Kelly, would you like to share your perspectives?
Sure. Hi. This is Kelly Williams. We're the City of Wilmington in little itty bitty Delaware. We're a pretty small city of 70,000, but this was a great project for us. It actually came from the community, where the community was requesting better lighting in the neighborhoods and in downtown. And what we really like about this project is that, you know, it shows a commitment to the community and it reduces our carbon footprint. But we really like that it reduces our maintenance burden. So I have a staff of, you know, 3 or 4 people who go around at 5 a.m. and look at all the lights that are out. We get a couple hundred, like 300 or 400 phone calls every year saying, oh, this light is out and this light is out. Well, now I don't have to hire staff to go and fix that. These lights are self-reporting, and I know where they are, and they'll last 10 years. So that's a huge cost of savings for the city itself. You know, obviously it's going to save money over the long term because of the energy savings. But what's really cool about this is the nodes that we put in, and that they're adjustable over different areas. So some of the technology that we're looking to set up is, for example, in downtown, we're looking to put in nodes that'll tell us that, you know, where parking spaces are available, because that parking is important. In areas that are challenged with respect to safety, we can, first of all, brighten those lights to make it safer. But we have some technology right now that can be connected. It's called Shot Spotter. So it's actually will let you know when a gunshot goes off. And if you connect those to the lights, it will brighten the whole block. So it will help the police locate you know, a perpetrator. And so we're really excited about the safety aspect of this, and going forward, and how that can really help, you know, control some of our you know, our safety issues. Also in the other areas, I love that we can dim the lights. We can keep them open, you know, or lighter for the events that are happening, like in our major Rodney Square during Jazz Fest. We had the lights, you know, illuminated so that you know, can see what's going on, and you can, you know, sit in the square and look and watch the concert. But then, you know, when everything was shut down, you can dim them, and everybody sort of goes home. And it's just so customizable, and the community is responding very, very well to it. We're enjoying it so much, and we really are super impressed with what you can do with the lighting, and we're looking forward to exploring a lot more opportunities that come with the smart technology. You know, things like air quality, you know, figuring out, you know, other ways to, you know, traffic flow and that kind of stuff. It's just so exciting, that the opportunities that are out there, and what you can do with even just a small number of lights that you change out.
Thank you so much, Kelly. That is great. And just a reminder to everyone, we are looking at outdoor systems too. They have the capability to integrate and bring a lot more value to your cities, to your businesses. So thank you, Kelly, for sharing that perspective. IMEG Corporation, Maureen Castillo, welcome. Would you like to share your perspective? Hi.
Yes, thank you. So, you know, we at IMEG, we started with a goal to find a balance between health and wellness and sustainability. You know, we pulled away from that traditional engineering firm lighting scheme and moved towards a biophilic fractal experience. It's fresh and interesting. You know, we're on the 27th floor in downtown Chicago. It doesn't feel like you're in the woods, but, you know, you're in a landscape of an urban environment. You know, the tunable circadian support lighting via low UGR luminaires, they provide comfort and enhanced performance in our open office. You know, we put a lot of research and educated hypotheses, you know, to create this EML daily schedule. So, you know, beyond following the sun, we're a post pump of EML is being assessed to support future evidence-based design for the community. And the Dolly 8 drivers allowed us to fine tune the lumen output and energy uses for our asymmetric layout, you know. Additionally, it allowed us to fine tune the lighting output for our coworkers that either required more lighting for heavy paper tasks, or, you know, scale it back for those that are heavy computer production work. It certainly also required a lot more optimization. Took a lot more time in the commissioning stage, but well worth the effort. You know, the meticulously located wireless sensors to meet that IECC 600 square foot zoning requirements help us balance that symmetrical furniture layout with our asymmetrical lighting support. It also, you know, we considered security, you know, scaling back the lights and having a luminaire that has a vertical luminance surface, you know, feels more secure in the space compared to something that you would, you know, may only see direct lighting like in a slot light that you may traditionally see in an office. And then, you know, sound privacy with improved acoustic baffles for our little small casual touch points throughout the office. So we've incorporated a lot here. We really tried to work on finding that balance aside from just energy control.
Great. Thank you so much, Maureen, for sharing that perspective. And we also have Johnson Controls, Matthew DeLodge. Would you like to share your perspective?
Hey, good morning, everyone, and thanks, Felipe and team, for the recognition. From the Johnson Controls perspective, this project was very important to JCI because it really helps us benefit and aligns with a lot of our customer objectives, specifically around achieving impactful sustainability, providing respectful safety and security for our employees and visitors, and to deliver enhanced user experiences. As Tracy mentioned earlier, our project involved many different smart building applications, including noise cancellation systems, HVAC controls, plug load management, people counting. We even got into the restrooms and looked at, flush valves to monitor toilet water systems, paper towel dispensing. And then most importantly, from the advanced lighting controls, we had everything from disinfectant lighting, blind control, space utilization, color tuning, tunable white solutions, scene control, both inside the conference rooms and things like that, as well as customer visitation areas, and then used light beacons to help us not only from a room reservation standpoint, as well as from an egress or helping people get through the facilities from that standpoint. Were very beneficial. Living with the lighting system, it was interesting pre-COVID, how quickly the users tailored the system to their needs and taking advantage of all the new features and capabilities that they had available to them. As we start to re-enter the facility and things like that, it's also helping us, help keep the people safer in the facilities, being able to keep a closer track on space utilization, for example, and how close folks are and things like that. As we, again, re-enter the workspace from that standpoint. The one biggest thing that I wanted to offer as a takeaway from this call for the participants is the fact that we didn't deploy the technology expecting the people to adapt to the technology. We deployed technology that would adapt to the people's needs. So that we could get much more functionality out of the systems and really take it, beyond individual smart systems and really bring them together as a collective smart building environment. So again, thank you.
Thank you so much, Matthew. Thank you so much, Matthew. We have Minnesota Department of Transportation. Mark Molenbrock, would you like to share your perspective?
Hi. Yeah, thanks for having me. At our site, it's maybe not as sophisticated as some of the other ones. It's just a maintenance facility. But one of the things the biggest problem we have with saving energy in these facilities is that our occupancy is so sporadic that the facility managers end up just scheduling the HVAC 24/7. So this was a perfect application for integrated lighting controls, and it's really paid off. We found going from basically 24/7 occupancy to some zones being only occupied for a couple hours a day because people are in and out so sporadically. And we've really had no lighting complaints at all, no HVAC complaints. So it really couldn't have worked better for us so far. That's about all I have to say.
Great, thank you so much, Mark. Appreciate that perspective. And University of Minnesota, we have Jay Amundsen. Jay, would you like to share your perspective?
Yes. If I can share my webcam as well. So at the University of Minnesota, of course, as an institution of education, we embrace the research and the idea of finding out the true savings of an integrated lighting and HVAC control. That was really something that we found interesting. And we chose this building at Jones Hall. It's a relatively small building, but it does have admissions and language departments. And we thought the admissions was the perfect outlet to demonstrate some of our sustainability work for potential students and their parents. So the building is really administrative classrooms, auditorium spaces, kind of a variety. It was a historical building built in 1901, but significantly remodeled in 2005 with fluorescent lights and a basic VAV system with central chilled water and central steam. But we basically installed lights with onboard photocell and onboard occupancy sensors, and we used the signal from the occupancy sensors to turn on and off or open and close the VAV boxes for the HVAC system. And Felipe, you're asking us to share what was the most meaningful, and I think for this particular project, going to a standby temperature, which means if our temperature is 72 degrees in a space, when there's no one in that space, we allow that temperature to drift up or down 2 or 3 degrees, depending on winter and summer. And we call that standby mode, which is different than unoccupied, which drifts a lot further, 8 to 10 degrees at night. But the standby was the real feature that we found meaningful. So when the room is empty, even though it's the middle of the day, we could allow our temperatures to drift a little bit. And I think that was the key, I think, to our success. The lighting, having the lights turn on and off based on occupancy, I think most people get that, and just a matter of implementing as many spaces as you can. The photo cell was also another feature where, if there's already plenty of daylight, the lights would quickly dim. And I'd say the lasting impression with any controls is that we had so far, right? We're still negotiating a pandemic, but so far we've had little or no negative feedback, and we've set it up and have left it alone, which I think is really great, and hopefully it stays that way. University of Minnesota is a 250 building campus nearly, and so now we can go on and look at some of the other spaces. But thank you for having me, and I find it absolutely fascinating to see the different circumstances that everybody on this call is coming from.
Thank you so much, Jay. And last but not least, we have Westover Air Reserve Base. Joining us today is Wayne Goodman. Wayne, would you like to share your perspective? Okay. Do we have someone from Westover Air Reserve Base? Sorry if I got the name wrong.
Felipe, I know he was juggling an appointment, so perhaps he didn't manage to call in.
And I think that there were also some things we were running into as we were starting this webinar with their connection. So, all right. So we appreciate Westover Air Reserve Base joining us earlier. Unfortunately, they may not be able to join us for today. But so we've heard these perspectives from our participants today, and now that you've heard them, we see some questions are coming in. So please keep those coming in. We'll address these here in the last bit of it. But now I'd like to move on to our recognized supporters, and we're asking for their perspective. And what we're asking here is, where do you see the most opportunity for advanced lighting controls and system integration? You're already doing some incentives. What applications, what building types, or anything like that do you see as having the best potential? And here we're focusing on those incentives and programs that directly impact the uptake of these technologies. So we'd love to hear those perspectives and how the utilities are helping the rollout of these advanced technologies. I'd like to start with consumers energy. Aaron Kwiatkowski, would you like to share your perspective?
Sure, Felipe, thank you. Good afternoon, good morning, everybody, wherever you are out there today. Thank you very much for Tracy and Felipe for including consumers. Consumers has had an NLC program for about 5 or 6 years now. To answer Felipe's question as where the most opportunity would be, here in Michigan, as everyone knows, we are a blue collar state. We have a lot of manufacturing industrial spaces. We tend to see those types of facilities as high participants in that demographic. But one thing that we've tried to work on in the last couple of years, that I've tried to work on to kind of throw up the net to other facilities, where I think can really take advantage of these, not just the incentives, but the energy savings, are any facilities that actually have independent schedules. So what I mean by that, universities, I know we heard from University of Minnesota, university type buildings, hospitals is a really big area. I think that the sky is the limit. Everybody knows how a hospital works. If we can integrate these systems into a hospital, I think there's tremendous potential for savings. But again, that's just my 2 cents. We have customers that have any kind of facility type across the board for commercial and industrial facilities or for demographic, but we are very happy to be part of this. And I think the best thing that the supporters can do is just basically educate your customer base or your area on the potential, because there is a wealth of opportunity, not just in energy savings, but also in non-energy impacts as well. So thank you again. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Aaron. Appreciate that perspective. We have Energy Management Collaborative. Tony Johnson, if you're on, would you like to share your perspective?
Yeah, thank you, Felipe, and thank you, Tracy, and thank you for recognizing EMC as a supporter. We're an ESCO, we're an integrator. If all of our customers were like the participants on this call, life would be great. We'd be really blessed to have participants like that or customers like that, and the supporters as well, helping the utilities, helping support projects like the participants did. They really help push some of those projects over the top in terms of, it can be a little bit more expensive to implement some of these features, but having the support of the utility companies really does help out quite a bit. It was really great listening to some of the other participants talk. I just want to echo a couple of those sentiments. Matthew from Johnson Controls talking about the system adapting to the user, not the other way around. I think that's a really important aspect of what we hope to integrate in a lot of facilities. And then Kenny with the UC or California State. He mentioned, if you're not going to do an integration into with HVAC, then don't bother. Wait until you can do that. And a lot of our projects at EMC are very energy savings focused. And sometimes it gets down to, what's the payback? And what we found recently in terms of, we might not be able to do all those integrations at first, but setting up the project for success later on via features within the lights themselves has been really successful. So that's my perspective. Thanks a lot, Felipe and ILC.
Thank you so much. And we've got Seattle City Light giving perspectives. Armando Berdiel, would you like to share yours?
Yes, thank you very much, Felipe, the Integrated Lighting Campaign, and everyone participating here. I wanted to say two pieces. Well, number one, I think the target markets that can benefit the most for integrating lighting systems with other building systems is what I call the MUSH markets, the munis, unis, schoolies, and hospitality. So yeah, municipalities, healthcare, education, great markets to start integrating, but more so education-wise, I think it's going to be very important to promote the real value propositions of again, integrating lighting systems with other building systems, and that is happening to an extent that just needs to be a trend that grows, and we need to be paying close attention to studies such as what the DLC, the Design Lights Consortium is doing, such as looking to quantify non-energy benefits in studies, and items like that are going to, again, continue to paint a picture, since it's less of a myth of, hey, what is the real human and energy payback of this integration on a utility program. And just like in the spirit of, hey, the integrated lighting campaign, the idea is integrating various utility departments to create programs that promote integration. You were mentioning earlier efficiency Vermont, paying for labor on integration programs. That sounds great. At City Light, we're looking to work across divisions towards this end as well. We created a new electrification division at the end of 2019, which is a separate division from where our program manager sits in our customer energy solutions division. And we're going to be starting to working again across divisions to create programs that promote electrification as a whole, in the sense that I believe, the future of buildings is that a building is going to be a one point of communication, to be a very flexible, to allow flexible energy control for a building as a whole. So again, education, integrated programs, and just get awareness.
Thank you, Armando, for that perspective. And last but not least, we have Excel Energy. We have Kim Sherman, David Potterson. Would one of you two like to give a perspective from Excel Energy?
Sure. This is Kim. I'm going to start, and then David can take it from there. I am a lighting manager at Excel Energy in Minnesota, although Excel Energy is in 6 states. And in 4 of our states, we offer network lighting controls and integration with HVAC. So far, we have achieved more than 10 gigawatt hours in energy savings and provided over $1 million in rebates for lighting controls. We are really excited about this industry and where it's going. We see our best prospects as being offices, warehouses, retail, service companies, and education. And we're really excited to support our customers' forward thinking and their needs. Like stories that you've heard from the University of Minnesota and the Minnesota DOT and Denver Water. So thank you for recognizing us. We're excited to grow and learn with you all. And David's going to talk a little bit more about where we're going in the future.
Great.
Yeah,
David,
thanks, Kim.
real quick.
Yep. Our plan, what we've seen already is that integrating HVAC into a lighting system increases the cost effectiveness of the project. We are planning to streamline that, create a new, hopefully prescriptive incentive for that, which would increase the value proposition even more. So we really are investing in this. And the last comment I'll make is that in a post-COVID world where offices have very reduced occupancy, we think this is, this technology is could be a huge benefit to offices reopening and having reduced occupancy.
Absolutely agree with you there. Thank you so much, David. And we do have possibly Wayne Goodman from Westover Air Reserve Base. Wayne, if you can unmute yourself to see if you were back on.
I just got unmuted.
Awesome.
I had been muted by organizer was what it said. So
right,
briefly, can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, sorry. To begin with, thank you, Felipe and Tracy, for hosting this and including Westover in this process. Several of the things have already been discussed, and I appreciate everyone's perspective on this. For us, it was the ability to have much better lighting for much lower cost was part of the driver. The other piece of it is the amazing amount of controllability that we have due to the wireless controls, the Zigbee controls that we have, and the fact that each of our luminaires has onboard occupancy sensors and motion sensors and light sensors. So we can fairly efficiently fine-tune our lighting profiles to the specific locations based on exterior light bleed in through the building, and also based on whether there's anyone there or not. In the case of our hangar, we're talking 165 lights that when there's nobody in there, there's no point in having those lights on any higher than a requirement for just emergency egress. And this whole process that we've used just makes things significantly better. Every occupant of all three buildings that were affected by this project have been consistently over the moon with their responses to how much more lighting they have, how much more control we have over it. And I would just say that if anyone who's on this call is in a DoD facility, obviously you have cybersecurity issues. I don't want to get into the weeds here because of the timing, but if you have any cybersecurity requests or questions, I would encourage Tracy to share my email address. I'm happy to discuss this with the cybersecurity bit of it with anyone who's interested. And thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Wayne, and I appreciate all of the perspectives shared today. We do have just 1 minute for Q&A, and I will put a slide, if you hang in there, I will put a slide with some information on how to get involved with the campaign and reach out to us. But there was one question that came in, I want to make sure I address that. And the question is, for these various projects, were the installations conducted from commercially available solutions, or was it research phase, or a combination of both? And I think that's a really important one, and I'm going to kind of answer it right now. I'm going to say that I believe that all of these projects were done with commercially available solutions. But I welcome any of our participants today to say if there was a mixture, or if there was one where you were looking at something that was still in research phase and not yet available commercially. So that, I believe that's the answer, but participants, please feel free to share your thoughts on that.
Felipe, this is Matt from Johnson Controls. I can confirm with you that these were all commercially available solutions. In fact, we targeted that specifically because we wanted to make sure that these, we could do some testing before our customers, make sure those solutions are there. The other thing I would say is that you're not restricted to one system. I failed to mention earlier, but in our lighting systems, we actually have 4 different intelligent lighting systems running in the facility. So I don't want people to think that you're locked into one system either. So just a little added.
Thank you, Matthew. And I'll give another 30 seconds just in case there's someone else that might have a different perspective that they didn't have commercial available, but they had something researching in nature. Hearing none. Thank you so much for submitting your questions. One question that gets asked a lot is, who can join the campaign and what cost is associated with it? I just want to answer that one. Participants and are generally building owners or facility managers. So please, if something here interested you and you want to stay abreast of what's going on, sign up. Supporters, those are utilities, energy efficiency organizations, manufacturers, among others. There is no cost associated with joining the ILC, and particularly for submitting your projects or your organization for recognition. Next slide. With that, I'd like to thank you for joining us on today's webinar. I want to thank all our panelists for sharing their perspectives. Tracy, I want to thank you for presenting those projects today, and become involved. Go to the integratedlightingcampaign.energy.gov, sign up for our newsletter, and feel free to contact us. If you have any questions, any comments about this webinar, shoot us a note, integratedlighting@pnnl.gov. And I really look forward to working with our partners to continue to get the word out about these projects. Tracy, anything before we wrap up?
Nope, I just wanted to thank everybody for your time and hope to hear from you and learn more with you and from you all very soon.
Great, and thank you so much. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.